Woodlawn church community is devastated over the loss of one of their own. Members say they have no idea why anyone would want to take the life of a woman who always poured into others. Kiara Jenkins is described by those who knew her as a loving person who made others feel supported. The 36-year-old mother of 5 was devoted to her children and to her church. Jenkins was a lifelong member of Mount Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church in Woodlawn, where she was a welcoming presence, always ready to help others. Now, the church community is at a loss, devastated by the news that Jenkins was murdered. Chicago police say it happened early Sunday morning around 4:30. Jenkins was found shot multiple times in the alley behind her home near 64th and Drexel. Church members say she was on her way to their 5 a.m. service, which she attended regularly. Word of Jenkins' murder was slowly spreading throughout the neighborhood.
It's a tragic situation.
Michael Adams says he and his family recently moved to the neighborhood a couple of doors down from Jenkins. He says he didn't know her by name, but that she was always friendly.
She just seemed like a nice lady. She spoke, every time she saw us. And, she was just coming and going, I guess going to work or whatever.
Adams says the neighborhood was quiet in the morning when he left for church, but when he returned home in the afternoon, there was a heavy police presence. At this point, police do not have a suspect or a motive in this case.
It was just chaos. They had everything wrapped up in tape and everywhere, front and back.
Jenkins' 5 children range from a college freshman to a 10-year-old. The eldest child tells me right now the family is just trying to be there for each other and process what happened.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, starting off at verse 14. Ye shall not go after other gods, of the people which are round about you. For Yahweh thy power is a jealous power among you, lest the anger of Yahweh thy power be kindled against thee and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. Kol Holayim La Al Banawa Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim out there in the highways and the byways. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Salutations to you speckled birds, you Israelite foreigners. And shalom to the Akwaf, sitting and listening in silence as the scriptures say to do so. Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting off at verse 14. Ye shall not go after other gods, of the people which are round about you. For Yahweh thy power is a jealous power among you, lest the anger of Yahweh thy power be kindled against thee and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. And this is a prime example of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai bringing this to pass, man. Because as you heard and as you see, she was executed, pew pew 5 times, headed to the harlot house, to the 5 a.m. A 501c3 church service, man, of the slave plantation Christianity, man. Okay? And this is a prime example because the Lord does not care about you being nice. With that word nice goes into foolish, stupid, to roughly paraphrase some of the definition. And the teachings, the philosophies, the customs, the doctrine of those 501c3 harlot houses of the slave plantation Christian doctrine are not of the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? Period, man. So you're worshiping and cleaving onto a false idol, a God that was given to you in this captivity for you to continuously error, go off, disrespect, denounce, reject, be rebellious, disobedient, everything that you can think of against Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Because we know that most of these churches have women in them. And women are able to be in a position in these churches to usurp authority and have leadership over the men, have say-so, etc. And we know that the Bible does not condone that. Okay, everything in this captivity, in this hellhole, this nightmare of Babylon the Great is perverse. It's negative. The only thing positive and righteous spewing and flooding out of this place is the words and those that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai truly of his lively stones has awoken up in these last days, man. That's the only thing that's positive and attempting to be as righteous as we can be in these prisons, in these corruptible bodies, man. Okay? Why do you think Yahweh Shai said their righteousness is of me? So the Lord is not taking the things that our people do very lightly. And this is an example right here to show you he don't give a damn if you're a woman, a child, a man. It doesn't make a difference, man. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. Okay? But let's continue on, man, because again, as you heard, man, she got pew in the alley by her crib 5 times. I believe it might have been all 5 times in her dome, or maybe 1 time in her dome. I'm not too sure, but this is execution from the Lord, man. That's who did it. You know, of course, the Lord used a person, a vessel to do it, but it was judgment from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, and as you heard, they found her there. So there's no telling. She was going to the 5 a.m. service, so she probably was leaving in between 4 a.m. and 5 to get to the 5 a.m. service early. So there's no telling exactly how long this went about. This is Hebrews 10, starting off at verse 30. For we know him, Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, that have said, vengeance belongeth unto me. I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord, Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, shall judge his people. And that's what happened. This was judgment from the Lord, man. Okay, not only for the idol worship, but also for the transgressions of her past life, and also the transgressions and errors, iniquity, the sins of this life. Okay, it was ordained and predestinated for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to take her out like this. Okay, verse 31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of a living power. And again, because the Lord is not going to show you no mercy when it's time for judgment. It's not going to be no sympathy. He's not going to, I changed my mind. Let me have some mercy. No. The Lord requires that which is past, man. And under the sun, okay, which is the earth, that's where the judgment is played out. And I'm roughly paraphrasing Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 15 to 16, man. Everybody's back for judgment. Everybody's back for the vengeance and justice of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And we hope and pray that we have the right hand side, which is the mercy, to spare, to have guidance, to have a hedge, to not perish, to have sympathy, empathy, mercy, consideration, favor. That's what we hope to have, because look, man, we don't take anything lightly. We don't take anything for a joke. Okay, why do you think the beloved Elder Apostle Gabar always states and says a lot of you Israelites don't know what you're involved in, because you think this is a fucking game? You think this grace period is a time for you to shine, a time for you to make a name for yourself and do all this wacky tacky weird wicked shit. Okay, and that's cool. Everybody has to play their position, man. But hey, man, as it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 11 on down, just because you ain't got judged now don't mean you ain't going to get judged, man. This is not a game, but let's continue. Because, you know, I'm pretty sure, more than likely, she got robbed. And again, I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what happened, how it played out, and how it went about. But more than likely, when this happened, who do you think she was calling on? Who do you think she was begging for mercy for? Who do you think? This is the Judges chapter 10, starting off at verse 13. Yet ye have forsaken me and serve other gods. Wherefore I will deliver you no more. And the Lord delivered her, not from the the transgression, not from the danger. He delivered her into the hands of the danger. Matter of fact, he imprinted and implanted the person that he used to do this to be there at that specific moment to bring forth that judgment, to appease his wrath. And again, man, this is the Lord is giving. Look, man, the Lord is giving the prophets these videos to show you how the Lord is judging our people left and right. Now, just imagine what you won't be able to imagine what the Lord is going to do when the prophets ain't going to be able to do videos no more. When we're off the streets, when we're out here on survival mode, and the Lord is on judgment mode only. Imagine what type of judgment is going to be, man. A lot of people ain't going to have no hedge, man. Verse 14. Judges chapter 10 verse 14. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. And I promise you and I bet you, more than likely she was crying for who? Sweet Jesus. Save me, God. Save me, sweet Jesus. I'm pretty sure that, and whether it be before it happened or while it was happening, and more than likely she probably prayed to JC before she left the crib. Probably thank JC for waking her up. Okay? Point blank period, man. So, you praying to these idols and these philosophies that's given to you in this captivity that are not valuable or profitable or beneficial for you. It's just literally leading you deeper to your demise. Okay, sinking you quicker in that quicksand, man. Okay? Because again, I made a statement. Let's grab a precept to back that up, man. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2. Okay? Because, hey, look, man, it's going to get more grievous, horrific. It's going to be, what's that word? Salakia. What is it? I'm trying to think. Massacre, Salakia. It's gonna be a massacre out here, Salakia. Trying to find this daggone precept, man. Maybe it's 2 Peter, Salakia. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation. And this woman was not godly because she would have been delivered out of the temptations. Salakia, I'm excited. Out of the temptations of this world, out of the temptations of worshiping false idols, false religions. Not cleaving on to these strongholds in this captivity, the society that gives us to keep us in error, to keep us in the darkness from who we truly are, and how to really acknowledge, reverence, and worship Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Okay? But the Lord handed her over, and others like her, over to the customs, the philosophies, the characteristics and traits of this world, man. And our people prosper, elevate, and worship the things that was given to them in this world. Okay? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust. Okay, which again, those that perish are not innocent, man. So this was an unjust vessel, an unjust Israelite woman. And again, man, these harlot houses, these 501c3 slave plantation Christians are really demonic, wicked as hell. Okay, their thought process is perverse, corrupted. It's of the world, man, which is who runs the world? Esau. So they have the mentality, the spirit, the thought process of Esau. Okay, especially if you're in that 501c3 church, man. Okay, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. So that's what this was. This was judgment. This was the punishment that played out for this woman, man. It is what it is, man. Do we want to see our people perish and be judged? I'm not going to say no. To be honest with you, but it has to happen. Better off them than us, man. But it's also a reminder for us that we're not exempt. You know, we're not at the end. We're not new bodies. We don't have our crowns. We're not in the kingdom. We don't have our salvation, our redemption, anything yet. Yahweh Shah has not come back to, take us out of this hellhole. So we got to stay on point, man. You got to accept the Lord's agenda, his plan, how we laid out the blueprint, man. We just hope and pray that that blueprint that's laid out, that we're on the side that's going to have help. Again, consideration, compassion, sympathy, mercy. And what does that mean? Written in the book of life. Okay? Because none of this is a game, man. So, I don't need to read that again. I'll just keep on going. Because look, man, the Lord is seeing everything. The Lord is seeing everything. But, Jake, whether it be the Israelite man or the Israelite woman, you're only worried about who sees you in this world, because your main fear, the one that really makes you tremble, the one that really you submit to, is Massa. And who's Massa? The so-called self-proclaimed white man, the Edomite. Okay? The red Hebrew Edomite. That's who you worried about pissing off. That's who you're worried about making upset. That's who you're worried about getting along with. Showing forth your alliance and your understanding of your position. Okay, whatever it may be. So let's grab this real quick. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach. Let's go to chapter 17. And I'm going to read verses 19 to 20. Therefore, all their works are as the sun before him. And the sun is before everything. Okay, of course, at a certain time the sun is shining on a certain part of the earth. But the Lord sees all that. Okay, because it's also another precept in the book of Job chapter 34 where it says there's no darkness nor light. Matter of fact, I'll grab that too, just for the hell of it, since I quoted it. Okay, Job 34, and it's self-explanatory. Job 34, verses 21 to 22. For his eyes, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai's eyes are upon the ways of man, and he seeth all his goings. There is no darkness nor shadow of death. Okay, so again, whether it be the moon in darkness or this pitch black darkness, or the sun where it's light, either or, there is no darkness nor shadow of death where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves, man. Okay, verse 23, for he will not lay upon man more than right, because what the Lord do is right. What the Lord do is justifiable, if that's a word. What the Lord do is no error, it's no transgression, it's no mistakes. Okay, for he will not lay upon man more than right, that he should enter in judgment. It's like that he should enter into judgment with the Most High. Okay, self-explanatory, man. So let's jump back to Sirach, which this precept is self-explanatory to Sirach 17, starting off at verse 19 again. Therefore are all their works as the sun before him, and his eyes are continually upon their ways. Now, as the Lord's eyes are continually, constantly, always on everybody's work, especially Israel. Israel is the main one. Okay, verse 20. None of their this is who he's mainly talking to. None of their unrighteous deeds. Matter of fact, just to prove the point, I'm gonna start from verse 17. Sirach 17, verse 17. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people. But Israel is the Lord's portion, whom being his firstborn, he nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, doth not forsake him. Therefore, all their works are as the sun before him, and his eyes are continually upon their ways. None of their unrighteous deeds are hid from him, but all their sins are before Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So we know, man. So again, I was going to speak on it, but let's let the Bible talk. So what does that mean? Because he said, but all their sins are before the Lord. That was the last line on verse 20. But all their sins are before the Lord. So what does that mean? Let's let the Bible talk, man. Let's let the scriptures speak, because that's the best way to do it. Romans chapter 6, the very last precept, verse 23. For the wages of sin is death. That's the end game. That's the judgment. It's death. You sin because what did Yahweh Shai say? Okay, when those that sin become the servants of sin. Okay, and I'll, matter of fact, I'll prove it. It's two chapters in John. It says it, but I'm gonna go to John 8, and I believe that's verse 32. Verse 34, Salakia. Yahweh Shai answered them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. So again, you're the servant of sin. So that means that the wages of sin is death. But the gift of the Most High is eternal life through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And again, that gift that the Lord gives you is the truth. And he gives you what? His son's name, his name, the correct doctrine, the correct way to acknowledge, reverence him, how to go about life, how to conduct yourself, etc., man. Point blank, period, man. So the point is made. Let's go ahead and close it on out, because this is what the Lord is doing, man. Okay, this is what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is doing as we speak, and it's going to be amplified. It's going to be intensely increased in these days to come, man. Okay, because he's turning this redback cave gorilla up, man. Deuteronomy 7, starting off at verse 9. Know therefore that Yahweh thy power, he is the Most High, the faithful power, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him. Because how do you love the Lord? You would keep his commandments, and we know that we're having a grace period right now. But one amongst other ways that we show forth our dedication, our devotion, our obedience, our submission, subjection, all those words, man, every last one, to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Just one of those ways is by rehearsing the laws, statutes, and the commandments, the high holy days, etc. Okay, that's just one way. And keep his commandments through 1,000 generations, and repayeth them, okay, and repayeth them that hate him to their face to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. And we know damn well that those that acknowledge the Edomite Cesare Borgia, JC, that go to these harlot houses, they hate the power, the true power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai acknowledges you to turn from the error of your ways, to be renewed in your mind, sanctified and purified by the word. And these churches are wicked as hell. Now I could name a lot of things, but I'm pretty sure one thing in that harlot house goes on is a lot of adultery, usury, okay, leading the sheep astray, okay, wolves in sheep's clothing, etc. Man, all these things, man, not sincere, not giving the truth, not telling the people who, all these things, man. But at the end of the day, man, judgment is going to ramp up abundantly more and more, and it's going to be to the point where it's going to be nothing but a massacre, chaos, and mayhem, man. And you're going to continue to be warned, hearken and take heed, man. And I speak to myself first and foremost. So I don't want to rot this out, man. I hope and I pray that this is edifying, uplifting, and informative to the true sincere Akiwa Akwaf. So with that, I'm just going to say, Shalom.